Fairly sparse crowd tonight.
They would give all three of us.
Yeah. Is the mayor not coming?
Oh, no? Was he,
Justify, you're trying to
maybe he's running late.
tell me that it's not personnel? It's not. Taking a position,
Apparently it's.
taking a person out?
We're live, right? All right. I'd like to call the Ravenna City Council regular meeting for Monday, June 1st to order. The first item on the agenda is a moment of meditation and silence. You could join me with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Gregor, could you call the roll?
Mr. Kelfi,
Here.
Ms. West? Here. Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Lodato? Mr. Maravich?
Here.
Ms. Michael? Here. Mr. Harper?
Here.
I believe Ms. Lodato is planning on coming, but may be a little late tonight. So the next item on the agenda is delegations from the public. We have on our agenda a delegation from Del Dubinsky. Is Del here?
No, she's not here yet.
Well, a little bit of a problem. Does anybody else wish to address council tonight? She knew it was 6 o'clock, right? Well,
Always next month.
yeah, there's always next month. Maybe she forgot or changed her mind. We're going to have to move on with the agenda, though. The next item is approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any suggested changes to the agenda? Anything they want to take out of the consent agenda? If not, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The next item is the consent agenda. In it, you'll find communications. There's a report from the Board of Elections regarding the results of our ballot initiative, minutes from various meetings, and reports, as well as some ordinances that the Committee of the Whole placed in the consent agenda. So is there a motion to dispense with the requirements of the city charter and the revised Code of Ohio with reference to reading on 3 different days and adopting emergency clauses and approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Let's get a roll call.
Mr. Kelfi?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Okay, the consent agenda is approved. Next item on our agenda tonight is our invitation to a city official. Tonight is Mr. Finney, our city engineer. Are you prepared to give your presentation tonight?
Sure,
You're always prepared to talk to us, right?
I am.
Proceed.
I mean, this is asking Bob about engineering. Odds are good he's ready, you know?
That's right. Yep. So you guys were, the paving list and the schedule, excuse me, the schedule for paving, you guys has been submitted to you, and then that includes the sidewalks. Repair and Asphalt is in town, and they're starting to work on the program based on a schedule. State Route 14 and 88 intersection study is, I've received a preliminary report with potential improvements. They will be substantial if we accept them all. As you know, the intersection is currently third on the list for severity index. 14 and 44 is number one on the list. And I've also met with ODOT, had a meeting with ODOT a few weeks ago and discussed some of their findings for their intersection. And they do agree we should work together with our two intersections. Just a couple simple findings. We can eliminate several crashes, albeit side swipes and not fatal, by eliminating 2 lanes in each direction along 14, which in essence is how that road acts now. Most folks use the curb lane, granted there's no curb lane, or there's no curb, but the inside lane to turn right in either direction, east or west. The issue for side swipes comes from those folks who want to get through the light and then have to merge. Now, if they're westbound, they don't have to merge. But the observation is the westbound traffic generally stay in the inside lane, and they're not using the outside lane. However, there are still cars that will go through that intersection. So I asked ODOT if we could lower the speed limit, and they said no. We can lower the speed limit by narrowing the road down, taking a lane away. Then cars are leaving caught in corners and they're already stacked in a single file. They get past the golf course and then it opens up to 2 lanes. And some will accelerate at that point just to get through the light. So those were a couple changes that we're considering. And then also dedicated left turn arrows on 88. That delays an intersection if there's dedicated turn arrows. Could delay that intersection for 30, 40 seconds. Again, we'll slow cars down because we're literally stopping the traffic.
When they say eliminate the right lane, would we make that lane a right turn only
Yes,
lane then?
That
Okay.
is correct. Yeah, that would be a right turn only lane.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
We know we can make the intersection safer by doing these things. The public will not appreciate these things because now they're going to be delayed. They don't obviously see that there's fatal crashes if they're just passing through. So we have to deal with that. A couple, the discussion that ODOT had for 14 and 44 was a double left turn lane in front of Sheets. A double left turn lane in front of Sheets to go eastbound. And then on the Chestnut Street side, instead of opening up to 2 lanes past the old Dunleavy Insurance, it would stay a single lane till it gets close to the hospital entrance. That's, again, a discussion, because they're seeing specific crashes at that location, where Lover's Lane and Chestnut Street cross. Because you have almost 5 lanes of traffic, and if somebody wants to get from one side to the other, they have to cross that, and there could be site obstructions with a semi parked in a turn lane, that sort of thing. So I didn't study that intersection. I didn't look at the traffic data. They haven't presented it, but these are just some discussions that we've had.
Who controls this discussion? You said that they have some suggestions that they're talking with you about. Ultimately, who is the decision maker on this? Is it them? Is it them after our input?
As far as 14 and 88, that's our decision. That's considered our intersection.
Okay.
However, if we're going to use highway safety money to make these improvements, basically they will pay for it. Then it has to meet their ODOT criteria. Yeah, and they have asked our input, or my input, as far as, because obviously that becomes Chestnut Street, which is City of Ravenna, even though it's considered their intersection, 14 and 44. And it was a lot to digest. And, I'm more of a thinker and have to think about it. I'm not going to react immediately. Yeah. But I do know how ODOT has multiple modules that they use for input, computer input stuff. And it'll put the numbers in, and you crank out the data, and it gives scenarios, and certain scenarios are permitted, and certain scenarios aren't permitted. For instance, you can't do something and create a level of service of F. A level of service F is terrible. Level of service A is perfect. That's free flow traffic, that there's never delays. We don't really have level service A's in an urban area. We strive for a B. We often have a C and a D. I'm not sure where 14 at our two intersections operates, but I'm guessing it's somewhere between a low C or a D. So again, using highway safety money, which is federal gas tax money, we have to meet their criteria to use it. If we wanted to do it all on our own, then we can do that.
I know they're not the same intersection, but it would be kind of nice if they kind of operated similarly as that traffic that's going through there, so that makes sense.
It's a complicated decision because that 14 going west from 88 to 44, I think the idea of the right lane being a right turn lane only is great, but the volume of traffic that's coming through on 44, it's going to back it up some there from 44 back down to, 88, I think, too, because you see it all the time that cars are rushing down the right-hand lane to get straight through that light before they move over. So that's where a lot of the side swipe accidents are, so.
And I think too, right now, we're seeing a big increase because of the construction in Streetsboro. People are going down 44 to go on the turnpike to go around too.
They're probably
I'm
running late
noticing
as
that.
it is.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed, because you mentioned the left turn lane, left turn signal coming, I assume, south on 88. And when you're heading west and going on to Freedom or 88, there is an arrow, but it's not always an arrow. And I've sat through 2 entire cycles before that arrow showed up. And it's a little bit tricky navigating if you want to, get in between. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the accidents were caused by people a little bit impatient waiting for that green arrow.
So stop before you get to the stop bar, 1 or 2 car lengths prior to, and you'll trip it.
Yeah, usually there's a metal
There's
inductive
an issue
loop.
there.
It's about spacing.
Stop further
Or
back.
slow down further back.
Car length or 2 before, correct.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, look in the,
Thanks
look
for
on the
that.
pavement for a small square that's about maybe 4 feet wide, give or take. You'll see a box.
It's a loop detector is what it is. It's cut into the pavement.
Okay.
I mean, certainly, Bob, as far as all of this goes, a little bit of inconvenience for people, it could save some lives, so it's certainly worth.
Anything's better than nothing at this point.
Right.
Because the people have complained, there have been accidents that have happened, and anything we can do to make a step forward to protect somebody, I think we need to do.
I think it'll bring down the blood pressure in Ward 2 a little bit, so we'd be grateful.
I applied for a FEMA grant called Building Resilient Infrastructure. And I applied specifically for Chestnut Street Lift Station for the piping project. I made it through the first round. Second round gets trickier. We're looking at approximately $4 million. This is a nationally rated, scored funding pot. So it's not a local, it's national. Now I have to prove that our residents have been affected by the lift station or the lack of the lift station's ability to pump. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do it this round. I might have to wait until next year. What I thought I could do, we know a lot of basements flood and never get reported, whether they're rental and they don't care, or resident homeowners just deal with it. Who knows why? I don't. We do know some that have flooded, but I don't have enough data. I thought about sending a generic survey out in the water bill asking if you have, what dates were they, and I can try to compilate, put them all together and see if then the group, the FEMA group would accept this type of data. In the end, it might take place next year, but at least I'm working on something. I'm trying to get the lift station paid for completely, and I believe I can show this lift station will stop many basements from flooding. Not every basement, but many basements. It will help tremendously. I need that data. I can't, they won't, I tried to make it up. They won't accept it.
I have a list of, I think, about 10 properties in Ward 4 that had basement floodings on the big August storm
Okay.
there. You want me to send those to you, or is it too late now?
No,
to
you
get
send them
that?
to me. I'm still trying to, I don't know, we're kicking some ideas around in the office. Like I said, I tried to use the engineering formula, and they want hard data.
I also have pictures of about 6 dumpsters in people's driveways on when the floods took place.
They were
Stu.
just clean.
Bob, what about the mass text alert? Would you be able to send out a
Yeah,
text?
we could use that too, sure.
To
This-
people
yeah,
and
the-
get data from that and
The
ask
issue
them?
at this point is, this is due at the end of June.
Well, that might be quicker though than the water bill.
Yeah, and it might
If
be.
you sent that out
Sure.
and asked them to contact you, as soon as possible by a certain date for FEMA, and they might think it might mean something
Yeah, it's true.
and get back to you quicker.
Sure, sure. Give it a try. It's worth $4 million. It's worth a try.
I have a question, Bob. On that project, that $4 million project, we have authorized a $500,000 engineering study to get the plans all ready for it. Where are we with that? Has the company been selected, and is the work
Oh,
being
yeah.
done?
So we're in phase
No.
2 of the project. Phase 1 was planning. We've completed the planning phase. EPA accepted it, and we've moved on to the design phase. Somehow there seems to be a contract issue with the EPA and the city. We didn't sign in the right place, and they kicked it back. It's been a little disappointing, so we probably lost 6 weeks. So the contractor, the engineering firm hasn't started on the design
Has not started.
because we haven't been authorized by the EPA to spend the money. We've kind of lost a couple months, but we're still working on it. We've got a good plan.
Once they start working on it, how long is it going to take them to get that plan done?
We told the EPA it would be March of '27, that they would be finished. But I think that bar just keeps getting moved, basically
Okay.
12 months. It just keeps getting moved because, and then the EPA shuts down for, 6 weeks, 5 weeks in July or something like that. I think it is the month of July. So we're trying to get it, at least get started. Obviously, we don't want to lose a month. We applied for Community Development Block Grant to extend the Harding water line to Peck Road. So currently, we have one water line that crosses Cotton Corners that serves all of our customers east of Cotton Corners. So if we have an issue, we shut them down. That's not good. So we've had this plan for quite a while. We thought we'd apply for CDBG. It appears the commissioners will accept our project. It's $500,000. We might have about 100,000 in skin in the game through the water fund, but it gives us duplicity with water service. And then there's another dead-end line that we're going to connect behind Allen Aircraft that it's low-hanging fruit also. That we'll use the grant for. We've applied for critical infrastructure grant. Now, critical infrastructure is specifically targeted for low to moderate income communities. So one of the projects that we've started working on years ago, and just one of my projects I want to finish before I retire, is the Collins Pond has always been an issue. And Collins Pond pipe that goes under the railroad will not drain. It's full. We can't get into Collins Pond to drain Collins Pond to help that. The environmental issues, nobody wants to deal with. We don't actually own the pond anyway. Polachina still owns that pond. He wanted to give it to us, and we said, oh, absolutely not. We don't want any part of it. But we have a solution to drain the area behind Ravenna Oil, which backs up to Prospect Street, not quite to Ohio, but actually there's a catch basin that's affected. So it's backing up on Prospect Street. We have a way to drain that directly north to the railroad tracks, under Lake Avenue, and down Chestnut Street. And we're on the second phase of the funding. Again, this is somewhere about $350,000. The residual would come out of the storm fund. So we're excited about that. This would be construction probably 2027. The King Street sanitary and water line from Main Street to Riddle Avenue will begin probably early August. We opened bids, we had a favorable bid. Mark Bowen is working on the contracts with the contractor. The contractor was in today providing more information, so. The state will notify us early July that we can sign contracts and move the project forward. But we can't start until they tell us to. It's historically the way it's always been, and they're usually right on schedule the first week of July. We're working on the design of North Avenue and East Central Avenue water line. It's also OPWC project. This would be for construction in '27. I've been attempting to widen West Main Street, the second half, for several years. And what's holding it up is the electric on the school needs to be updated, and the school refused to update it. So I'm told by the power company, as soon as the school closes, they're going to disconnect the power, and then the power poles can be switched over. And then I can move forward in 2027 and finish widening the road. We actually have, I'm sorry?
Feels like it's like a 30-year project.
It does feel like it's, I agree. We do, this road corridor from an accident, corridor accident rate is high from the side swipes. When we look at the West Main that we've already widened, the side swipes are less. So widening the road does help improve. The severity index of these crashes are not high, but it's just the number of crashes because people are switching lanes and stuff. And even the inside lane along the striped, the center line, the inside lane is acting as a turn lane as it is. We had a study done a few years ago, and I don't remember if it was 25 or 30% of the cars end up turning left from that center lane in each direction. I'm not planning on changing that. I'm just wanting to widen it. And as I've said before, once we widen it, it could be council's decision in the future to turn it into a 3-lane road, a center turn lane, a shared center turn lane, 2 through lanes, and 2 5-foot bike lanes on each side. If city council would choose to do that. I wouldn't, but city council could in the future. It would be wide enough to do that. 645 Chestnut Street, the cleanup. The land bank is seeking brownfield funding from either the EPA or Ohio Department of Development for Phase 2. Unfortunately, we haven't heard how that's progressing. We haven't heard if they've been successful or not. So once a Phase 1 has been done, once a Phase 2 is completed, that will determine what level of Phase 3 would need to be. If they have to, Phase 2 could be monitoring, drilling monitoring wells, poking some holes, monitoring, testing. If there's issues, then Phase 3 would be literally mitigating those issues. And then once a no further action is in place, we currently have a no further action on Oakwood Street, the back of the street garage, and there's also the old white rubber on Cleveland and Oakwood Street. We have and also, well, we're working on a no further action for the old county engineers facility. But once there's a no further action, then it can be redeveloped commercially.
So is that anything with that property on North Chestnut Street that, so who owns it? The land bank now?
South Chestnut Street?
Yeah.
State of Ohio.
So the state of Ohio owns it. Is that piece of property, is that anything we would want to change the zoning on and continue that commercial or hold that? Because there is residential in that area. I'm just concerned because of the cluster, like more of a conditional use,
So
while we're.
It's industrial now, it's zoned industrial.
Right, because it once was a factory, but now it's green space there. So,
Dennis and I talked, and we talked with the land bank in the past. First of all, I want the lower portion, because we have sanitary sewer. I want the city to take ownership of the lower portion. then the other parcels, the big, where the buildings actually sat, as I said, Dennis and I talked, I would like to see the city to take ownership of it and, in essence, solicit bids for redevelopment. And then potentially city council could choose which development they would
Right.
like to see in the city.
Yeah, I would feel probably more comfortable with that because, I mean, I don't want to see a situation where all of this government money is going to clean up this piece of property and who knows what's going to go in there, I mean, we're trying to clean up areas and I don't want to just end up with something that's not going to do that area any justice either. So, yeah, I would be all for that.
Unfortunately,
even
it's
make
just
it
a waiting game.
Yeah, even if we made that area more conditional use or, maybe did a temporary zoning change, even if that is what we need to start doing to protect certain areas, I think we need to be more proactive lately than not, so.
Sure. Water tank should be in operation by the end of the month. Still not progressing the way we hoped it would progress, but we are moving forward.
Didn't they have a clause in the contract that it had to be done by a certain date, or they incurred a penalty? Has the
Yeah,
penalty
we're a couple-
been
We're
in?
a couple $100,000 in liquidated damages now.
We are.
The contractor's been told and knows. It's,
Is that easily collectible, or is it lost money because it's so hard to collect?
so what we won't do is, what we will do is not pay them the last invoices.
Okay.
And we will submit in writing, legal standpoint,
justification.
this is why.
Okay, so we still have not paid the full amount yet.
We have not, and we won't. And then we face being sued. I mean, a couple $100,000 is worth suing over, so.
Sure.
Mr. Bone is keeping records,
Okay.
good records. RFQ for the wastewater treatment plant headworks will go out Wednesday, I think. That's my goal, to send out Wednesday. So this would be for the headworks design. We'll do this in 2 phases. Will there be a planning, and then we'll turn it into a design phase. So the consultant selection committee will be involved. We'll have a larger group this time. Portage County will have a person, most likely their director will be involved with selecting a consultant because they'll be on the hook for a portion of it. That's a very big project, and it's going to be a very expensive project. So we currently budget $50,000 for property maintenance a year. Historically, we haven't used it. This year we are. Last year we used it. We did demo a house on West Main Street a year ago with this money. We're currently using some of it to help a homeowner demolish a couple garages that caught fire on Day Street. The man didn't have the wherewithal, and we offered to provide dumpsters, knowing we're going to assess his taxes, the dumpster cost. He actually has a contractor that's putting stuff in the dumpster. It's working out. Dawn and I have discussed this on different occasions to provide dumpster service for people that have stuff that they can't get rid of. And I know we've talked about this somewhat in the past, down at the street garage or something, and the concern would be people throwing stuff in it that shouldn't be going in a dumpster. I guess it's going to have to end up being just personal property here or there to try to help folks out. It might be something council can consider too, is providing dumpsters a few times a month or a few times every quarter or something like that. Let residents just come and throw their stuff in it that they don't want. Or it could be looked back into the sole source garbage collection. With that, they would be able to put out anything they want and it would be picked up every week if we entered that contract with the service company. Could eliminate those.
So, this $50,000 fund, how long has this been in existence?
Probably I'd say maybe 5 years we've had it.
And you've not used it?
The last couple years we have.
Oh.
In the past, we hadn't been using it.
And how does, do residents know about this? How does this money get used?
Eligibility.
So the money is, originally, we had board up and cleanup funds, $2,500 or $3,500, whatever it was, and that was never enough. So we decided we're just gonna put 50 grand in and combine those items into property maintenance cleanup. So we won't physically go onto property and remove it as a city employee. We would have to hire a contractor that has insurance, and
Right.
pick up a couch and there's a needle stuck in it, we're not putting ourselves in it. We're a contractor.
You guys did this on King Street too, correct? Did you use money for the, I mean, because we ultimately built that property for the backyard for all the junk that was left behind on King Street too, I believe. I would think
You
the
have
money
to
would,
refresh my memory. Recently did this happen? Okay.
on King Street, one of our many habitual problems that finally sold
Okay.
on King Street that had people living in the shed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right, yeah. Wow, how quick I forget, yes.
Okay,
we
so
did
something
that.
like that would
We
be an
paid a
example?
contractor, a company to go in and clean this stuff up. And
So you get permission from
we,
the
in that
property
case,
owner,
yeah,
correct?
we got permission. Or we would get permission from a judge if that were the case.
So it's not like residents come to you and ask
No.
for help.
No.
It's when property inspections note
Chronic.
some extreme situation that the city is kind of insisting they clean up. The resident says, I don't have any money, and that's where this comes in.
How about we provide you a dumpster? Would you do it then?
Okay.
And we call their bluff. Yeah, give me a dumpster, here it is. We called your bluff.
And then they assess the property owners on top of it, like probably on West Cedar Street too, I'm sure. Was that used any there as well on the house that we've been dealing with for years?
You talking about Central?
No, Cedar. The other one was on fire at one time. They had a camper on the property. East Cedar.
Oh, okay, that's different.
Why am I drawing another blank?
It's okay. I'm not going to say it, but I'm just saying, we have so many of these, so is there money left still in that fund, or is it gone?
No, we still have money.
Okay,
So
well, I think
this
it's a
year we've
good
only-
thing that you have that money, and if it's, yeah, to be utilized more and more, because we have a lot of these problems that are showing up, and I know you guys are tapped to in a lot of different ways. So I didn't realize, this money was coming out of a fund. That's news to me as well.
It's budgeted. It's in our 101, 116 fund, or in the engineering building
But,
fund.
so,
So
because I'm confused, do you actually charge back?
we will, yes.
What if they don't pay?
So for instance, we tore the house down on West Main Street last year. We're going to assess their taxes.
Oh, okay.
It's a vacant lot. What's it worth? You know, it's not worth $28,000 that we paid to demo. We know that, but we got rid of a nuisance,
Yeah.
Yeah.
unfortunately. But in this case, we provide a dumpster, we will assess the taxes. But it's just a negotiating tool that we will use in this regard.
Yeah, I get it.
Thanks for that info, because I honestly didn't realize that, and
Well,
I'm
I'm
glad
going
to
to
know
go
it.
through our court process
That's-
here in a minute, too. So, cold storage, we bid that out. The prices came in the price, we had one contractor bid on it, and the price was double of what we had budgeted. So we're on hold with that. I'm actually working on an alternative structure, a steel structure, the prefab that will be brought on site for considerably much less. I talked to Mark about it a little bit, but we haven't finalized it yet. So you guys were Dawn sent out the monthly report, and you're getting an abbreviated version of it. I happen to have the full version. On the version that you have, it's just a PDF. It's not you can't click on things. But if you scroll down toward the bottom, you're going to see address, name, case number. Obviously, if there's a case number, it's been filed. It's somewhere in the process of the court. and then there's a status, and it tells you where we're at with that specific status. So Dawn and Esther work together, and Esther and Dawn update this. Primarily Esther, since she's the one that's doing most of the filing. I'll go through this quick process. There's 16 steps to get through the court process. 16 steps. Some of them can get combined. 16 steps before we can file a lien against the property, believe it or not. So the very first thing is Dawn would send a letter, and then we wait a little bit. Letter of violation, and we wait a little bit. Sometimes he'll knock on the door, but either way, we have to formalize it by a letter. Talking to a person is not enough, so it has to go to letter. We wait 30 days, then we'll ask Semino to send a letter. Sometimes it works when the law director sends a letter. So this is serious, lawyers get a hold of us. If nothing happens, then we file a complaint with the court. Then the court sends the person a letter. They have to perfect the service. So it'll be sent certified mail. What happens with certified mail? I don't have to accept it. Gets kicked back twice within like 2 weeks. So we lost another couple weeks. Then the court finally says, we're just going to send a letter and we're moving forward and we're going to schedule the date. So if the person shows up in court, we're moving forward. If not, then they have a default hearing. Why didn't the person get served? Then the next process is an injunction hearing. So the judge decides to issue on the order. The person could be present or they might not show up. Then we go to mediation potentially. And that's where we obviously negotiate with the person. You move your motor home or you do this, you do that. And we're usually generally kind to the people just to get some action. Then we go to an injunction order where the judge orders the property to be cleaned up potentially. Then the fine can start accruing, but the judge has to agree, so we have to go back to court. Again, sometimes these can be an injunction and a fine could be done at the same time, but then we have a motion for contempt if they don't show up and they don't do what they're supposed to do. They could show up and just say, I didn't want to do it. I don't have the resources to do it. I'm not physically able to clean up. So then the judge has to formally penalize the person. Then the court will send out a notification. They have to perfect service again to make sure they were notified properly. Then we go into hearing or fines by the judge. Then we have judgment on the fines. Then the judge can actually allow us to lien properties. So you could tell this is not happening over a 2-month period. If we can get these folks to come into compliance, talking to them, and convincing them with a dumpster or some other way, we're going to do it. A lot of times the folks don't show up. Sometimes they'll show up with a lawyer, delays it 2 more months because the lawyer immediately says, well, I need more time with my client. And what do? Give them more time. So you guys are getting the list, and these are, again, you'll see that in the status where we're at with that specific case for this month. If you look the following, maybe it's moved forward specifically, maybe it hasn't, but you know, we deal with folks that we're not really, Dawn and I are not trained to deal with, be it OCD, ADHD, hoarding disorder, OCD, depression, attention deficit disorder. You know, these are things that we're, other than us saying, there's something wrong. You know, we can't convince these people that they can't do this. So again, we try to convince them and then we move forward.
Has the outreach person from Coleman, have they been able to help assist in any of this?
I don't know who they are. I don't know that they've reached out to us or we've reached out to them.
I was just curious with some of the conditions that I know that you are dealing with some, especially with the hoarders that we have, you know, how would they interact in getting help? with some of these conditions that they're dealing with. Because, yeah, you guys are not trained to deal with this. How can, we help you with this in making some of these processes smoother to deal with this stuff, because mental health is serious, addiction. It's a lot to deal with when their homes are becoming nuisances in the neighborhoods. And at the same time, on you guys, it's frustrating because how do you go about it when they are not, some of them aren't even understanding you. So it's kind of like a back and forth job. You make a few steps forward and then in a week or so, you're right back to where you started. And I know what you guys are going through because I talk to you guys so much and usually I'm complaining so much, and I know it's a thankless job that you guys are doing, but we do appreciate it. And whatever like we can do to help you with your job to might make it easier, whether we look at having a social worker or some ideas that could help this, I'm open for hearing ideas that council might be able to help with. Also, I know the turnaround time, sometimes when you do submit stuff to the law director and the turnaround back, it's very lengthy at times.
It is.
So how do we fix that? Do we put something where the next law director comes in? If we're not going to change it, do we put it in that in the charter there's a certain amount of time that they have a turnaround time with council? There's other ways to look at things, but I understand the frustration that you're going through, and I do appreciate it.
Well, this is an issue that we have talked about kind of in the past a little bit, this bureaucratic, difficult, time-consuming process. However, this is one of the greatest problems facing the city right now.
It is.
This is these houses that are in ill repair, junk and stuff all over the place. It's a huge problem. And so if we need to give more resources to hire more people to push the paperwork or put the service, the court service out, hire them out to process servers. As we look around the city, and I know all of my council members could share this, in every ward, we have places that really need some cleaning up. And so I am willing for us to spend more resources to do this if we get direction on what help is needed. However, it needs to be a big priority, in my opinion.
Well, and the outreach and follow-along piece is super important because the outreach is fine, but then if you only outreach once and then never again, then you have to have that follow-along to keep it moving along, especially with folks that struggle with different mental health, diseases. So to have that might be something worth exploring. And I know we've touched on it in the past. I know Amy and I have talked about it in the past before.
And there's fun.
We did reach out about a month, maybe 5 weeks ago. We reached out to the family services, I guess it is, adult family
Access.
services.
Oh, yeah, Adult Protective Services.
Yeah, there's a gentleman that is living in a home that doesn't have water or electric, and he has a job, and he has a couple cars, and he goes to work. We don't know what to do, so we called them, but when we call them, they don't call us. We'll speak to them, and it's confidential, so
You don't know
just
the
kind of sit
outcome.
and wait a little bit longer to see if that group can help this person.
Yeah.
Just one thing. I've thought, Dawn and I have talked about this at length, and perhaps in the future, we can have a fund set up specifically for a lawyer that specifically handles these types of issues. That's more narrow-based on property maintenance stuff, I guess, I don't know. Somebody that's, if we had a consultant lawyer that would be on the other end of the phone when we called immediately, then I do believe things would move faster.
Yep.
This person would not be able to push anything through the court system any faster because of the reasons I just discussed.
Court to
But
court, yeah.
they could get on top of things maybe a little bit. We
They
could
know
shave
the
off a few
law
weeks.
better or know what's going on and can give you legal advice quicker as well to know your legal rights and what we can and cannot do, which in turnaround would help the residents in the neighborhood from what they're dealing with as well.
Is it your belief that it's just that, the responsive time of legal, that's slowing it down, or is those other things also? Are we attributing all of this problem right now to legal, waiting for legal?
I attribute most of it to mental illness
Okay.
because we can't convince folks. You know, I believe, I mean, there's a group of people that that we deal with, and I would be similar to what the police department has to deal with.
Right.
We try, and we try, but we just can't convince some people to live a certain way when it's not in their capacity to. They don't understand. It's frustrating.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that. However, do we end up at a point where we say it's a no-win situation? You know, that it's impossible to solve, or do we try to solve it? That's the issue that I'm having. If we have to do something different to solve it, we need to do it. I just know that there's lots of properties that we need cleaned up badly within this city.
I say we need to try to solve something of it to make it a little bit smoother, because if not, we're going to have more disasters, and we've got to make a step forward in one way of this. So, and I do feel that if we're not going to have a law director that's not appointed, then I think we need to also look at things in the charter where we can make changes on how quickly things get back. We could at least do some turnaround time, like little tweaks in what the job might entail that maybe could be helpful to some staff in other departments as well. So just because you're elected doesn't mean can't be accounted for, because you just never know who you're going to get. So, and I think, Bob, you and Don and your crew think about what we can do, because, the Mental Health Board does have that outreach person that's supposed to be helping in ways. Now, maybe that's only for the downtown, but, if this is something that maybe the Mental Health Board is aware of, knowing that, the amount of mental illness, people that are being housed in our community that significantly need help. I mean, this could be maybe a presentation made to the Mental Health Board for the city to possibly get money to help with some of this, because it's become a burden on our community.
Dr. Calfee, to your point, we currently have one judgment on fines, meaning it's gone clear through the system. The judge has said $100 a day, and we're going to verify with Mr. Smino, but I believe we can actually assess taxes in a tune of well over $25,000. We will get to a point where the city will have the option to take ownership of this house, evict this person, and clean it up. Another process that we haven't exercised yet because of kind of its cost is seeking the ability to enter property and clean it up. Basically, take somebody's personality off their property in a dumpster and we have a couple residents that I would not do that without a police officer or multiple police officers standing nearby, because they will not be happy if that happens. So we haven't exercised that right through the court system yet for that reason.
That might not even really solve the problem in most cases. if we're
If
dealing
they're
with
allowed
them.
to stay there, they'll probably bring personality right back.
Because, I mean, if it's that, if that's what it is, yeah.
That has happened so many times in so many of these cases. They'll meet their obligation by cleaning up, and then a month or two later, pooh, it just appears again. Don't know where it came from, but.
Yeah, I know this is an ongoing problem. I've seen it well over 20 years ago, and it's, the final solution hasn't, probably just because of getting her through the legal system, it just hasn't been completely been able to clean up.
That's pretty much it that I have. Engineering's the easy part. Building department has gone crazy the last month and a half with residential and commercial.
It's good, right?
It's good.
All right.
Thank you for all your hard
It's a
work.
healthy crazy, right?
Thank
Thank you,
Bob.
Mr. Feeney. And as you know, we're here to help whatever suggestions you might have. And I know you have many. All right, we're going to move on. The next item on our agenda is report of committees. The committee meetings will be next week, June 8th, starting at 6 o'clock. First report is from Utilities, Mr. Moskin.
Nothing at this time.
Okay, how about Information Systems, Mr. Maravich?
I'm not planning on a meeting for next week.
Ms. Lodato is not here, but I do believe we'll have a planning committee meeting. The whole meeting will be on Monday, June 22nd, starting at 6 o'clock. Public Health and Safety, Ms. Michael.
Yes, we have just an item on first reading tonight, and we will be having a meeting next month, or next week.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're already in June.
Streets and Sidewalks, Mr. Harper.
I believe we will be having a meeting.
Okay. Personnel, Dr. Calfee.
No committee meeting next week.
Community and Economic Development, Ms. West.
We have an item on second reading this evening, and we will be having a committee meeting. Mr. Bogo is going to be joining us for a presentation on some things from NDS.
For the Finance Committee, I don't have anything specific. Do you have items, Ms. Lawrence?
Possibly a preliminary on the tax budget.
Oh, that's right. We're having a commission meeting this week.
Right.
Thank you. Do we have a report from the Cemetery Board, Mr. Moskin and Ms. West?
We
Well,
had,
Go
we had
ahead.
we put bids out for the chapel roof. Not sure what happened with all of that and where we got the initial information from, but we got nothing back. The only thing that we did get back was $100,000 over what we had put in for. Yes, go ahead, Bob, if you want to add.
We were
Yeah.
told that the estimate was 80,000. We bid it as such. There was one return bidder. I believe it was somewhere in 111,000 with one option. The other option was well over 180,000, something like that. It was very disappointing. I wasn't going to bid it until the money was secure. I was told the money was secure. Turns out the money is not secure. So
We have about,
that's
yeah.
legal and ethically wrong.
Yeah.
To bid a project without it being secure. The thought of a donor having the money that has not brought the money forward. So I won't work with the cemetery until we fix these issues.
so we certainly are a little back to the drawing board and seeing, just cost-wise, I know a lot of concern from the community and a lot of concern from those involved was trying to keep the natural state as best we can. However, the imitation slate and other options might have to be the way that we are looking because financially, we might not be able to afford to do a true slate roof on that cemetery or on that chapel.
Okay.
There
So-
was, 6 or 8 contractors that
Yeah.
held the plans, and only one returned a bid.
Yeah.
And it could simply have been the price was not high enough for them to even submit a bid.
Right. So we're continuing to work on it and continuing to attempt to secure the money. The concern that we have is that there are some donors that the agreement was with the donation was if it's not done this year. So,
But even so, I mean, you had donations to the tune of $80,000.
we currently have,
It's a 55,000
we
or
have
something.
53,600, or 53,100 in the account right now.
The cemetery was going to use 30,000 or
Yeah.
earmark 30,000.
But I guess my point is, isn't it kind of moot if that's not even going to cover?
Right, so
even
we're back to
close
the
to
drawing
covered.
board on it, to kind of
Okay.
see what our options are. Again, I think exploring, like, we reached out to, we're reaching out to the company that did the building on the corner of Chestnut and the
Main.
downtown, yeah, to see what company they used and what kind of material they used. A lot of the places are trying to get us to use it's like a panel where there's so many pieces of
Imitation.
slates. No, that's not imitation.
Oh, that one
It's a
isn't?
different option.
Okay.
Steel?
Yeah.
Is it a steel roof that looks, they're panels
Yeah.
that look like slate,
But
probably.
some places have told us that does not hold up as well. Imitation slate doesn't last as long as regular. Imitation slate lasts, what, about 50 to 75 years? Slate lasts 75 to 200 years, could. So, I mean, we're looking at all of those things as we explore it, but definitely back to the drawing board and continuing to work on that. Couple other things, they're really trying hard to mow. The city has pitched in and helped a lot with the mowing. It is wet back there, so it's wet. They've gotten stuck a lot. The city also pitched in and helped with some weed trimming, stuff like that. And the street department pitched in and helped with filling some potholes and stuff like that back through there. So it really has come together. And then the high school kids for their day of service, we had a lot of kiddos that actually asked to come back from last year that volunteered to help clean up, plant flowers, help with the flags and stuff for Memorial Day. So it was really nice to see that. What else, Paul? Am I missing anything?
No.
Okay.
No. What I was going to say, you covered it.
Okay, thank you for that report. Next report is from Parks and Rec. Mr. Maravich?
Yep, a couple updates for you here. Parks team has been working pretty hard to renovate the Havertz Ball Fields, from trimming trees, adding dirt, resetting bases, fence repairs. And they'd like to send thanks to the street department as well, since that's kind of the spirit right now, for helping to do work for field drainage and installing some concrete steps. Additionally, Shooting Stars Soccer is underway. T-ball will be starting this week. The disc golf course is open, and we're seeing a lot of regular play right now. The whole signs are ordered and will be installed soon. We're also putting together a little ribbon cutting ceremony and a grand opening, and that'll be in the coming weeks. We're finishing up another very successful Intro to Pickleball season, and we've just kicked off a 3.5 level and below pickleball league. I'm not exact to those specifications, but I believe them. Let's see here. Also worked with the schools this month for the Day of Caring. With their help, they able to mulch the areas at Chestnut Hills Park and the playground at City Park. So we'd like to thank the Ravenna High School and the students for their time with that as well. June 5th is a summer celebration at Sunbow Valley. There will be a ribbon cutting at 3 p.m. with the event starting at 5. We are working with Reed Memorial Library, where there'll be several food vendors, lots of family-friendly games, historical tours, a live band called Back Alley Relics, an animal petting zoo, and more. Everyone will need to enter the property from the Brady Lake Road entrance. And summer camp also started this week. But that's it for Parks and Rec.
Thank you, Ms. Maravich. Last report is for Main Street Ravenna. I attended their last board meeting. A lot of stuff going on for Main Street Ravenna. Their executive director search is well underway, and they've got some very appealing candidates. I'm not exactly sure where they are in that process. They held their first fourth Friday downtown on May 22nd. One issue they're investigating that I think council should be aware of is parking. In meeting with some of the shop owners, parking is an issue because there's not a whole lot of enforcement. And so they may be putting together a proposal for the city to look into an automated ways to monitor parking. There's a lot of options out there. it would be designed to do, not necessarily to bring in money from fines. We wouldn't be like putting up meters and charging people to park. We'd be charging people who exceeded the 2-hour limit. And, you know, that would help because some of the shop owners say people park in front of their shop and just stay there all day. And it defeats the purpose of people coming in to use their shops. They're investigating ways to implement signage, something council actually approved a few years ago. This would help with wayfinding and other ways to kind of just enhance the downtown atmosphere. Just a couple other things, they're organizing a couple of fundraisers. They haven't really decided exactly what they'll be. They did conduct one in the spring, what they call their patrons party, raised upwards of $6,000. And then they're looking for a fall fundraiser. They haven't decided exactly what that will be. And then Art on Main will be Saturday, June 13th, downtown Ravenna. Same as always. They've got, I believe, more artists signed up than they have in the last few years. They have some food trucks and lots of activities going on. Okay, so moving on in the agenda. The next item is first reading of ordinances. And the first ordinance is ordinance number 2026-88.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to donate $5,000 in opioid funds to Access Family Services to assist those affected by the opioid epidemic and declaring an emergency.
This is sponsored by Public Health and Safety. Ms. Michael?
I don't really think there's anything more additional on this. Do you have anything else? No? We've talked about it. It's just helping continue getting the transport of the people that are out in jail away back to where some form of transportation and not dropped off in our downtown.
When do they need this money by? Do we have a deadline or?
It wasn't stated sooner than later.
Okay.
I don't know. We have it on 3 readings. Is there a need for that for 3 readings?
Up to you guys.
Yeah.
I don't think we need it for 3 readings. I think we can move it on.
I know that it was requested to have it as soon as possible.
Right.
To get this expedited.
Yeah.
And I would hate to see a lapse in the service if they
No,
didn't have the
absolutely
funding
not,
to-
because
to-
it's absolutely
I
needed.
was just curious if there was, yeah.
Yeah,
Just
I
because
was
of the
surprised to
emergency
see
clause.
it on, for a first reading here myself. I wasn't sure if we were waiting something for the law director or what.
No, he said he was okay with it.
Taken out of the consent agenda. I don't think it was
Yeah, it was just removed from the consent agenda when we met last.
Okay,
That's all.
necessarily that it needs to go through.
so,
Is there a motion to waive the 3 readings?
That's my job. Are you offering that
So
motion?
moved.
Are you offering that motion? Oh, she's
I
moved.
am, and it
You can
sounds like I have
second
a
it if you
second.
like.
Sure, I'll second it.
Okay.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Kelfi?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
The ordinance contains an emergency clause. Do we have a motion to adopt that?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Kelfi?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
And do we have a motion to approve the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Kelfi?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Okay, that ordinance stands approved.
Thanks, Christina.
We have no other ordinances on first reading. We have one ordinance on second reading, and that's ordinance number 2026-75.
An ordinance authorizing Ravenna City Council to appoint blank and blank to the Tax Incentive Review Council in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code and declaring an emergency.
Yeah,
Do we have anybody?
the few people that I have talked to me recently, they want to serve on the charter. So that's their pick. So I'm
I
looking for
see.
other people because that would conflict. You're not allowed to.
Can city council members serve on the committee?
Are you allowed by a charter?
I mean, It would seem odd to me if we could serve, but somebody on the charter, or is it that they just don't want to do both at the same time?
Right.
Oh, you can't serve in,
That's-
No, I,
but this isn't, is this a city board?
So when I was reading, it said that you couldn't in the charter, unless I'm reading the charter wrong. So if one of you want to help me decipher that, but when I was reading, you could not serve on the charter and on the tax incentive.
Then I wouldn't take
so
any chances.
I know, like, if you're on the Board of Zoning Appeals or one of those standing
Committees,
city,
boards,
yeah,
commissions.
then
so
you
on and so
can't
forth.
serve on the charter review, but I don't know if this counts.
Rob, if you can look at the
Yeah,
charter
we'll
with
look
me,
into that.
please. Yeah,
But it may be moot if the people just don't want to serve simultaneously anyway.
no, it's that the way we read it, that
Okay.
you cannot, so.
So if they can't, have you,
If they can't.
have you come up with some new names?
I do not have any new names yet. No.
If a council member can serve, I'd volunteer to serve on
Okay.
it.
Yeah, let me look. I'll talk to Rob and Mr. Semino again.
I
about-
attended it a number of years as superintendent.
Yeah, that's true.
This-
So you would be able,
In tax incentive review
Mm.
committee, so
okay.
it wouldn't be anything new.
Yes.
If you're interested, I can read A1 of 881.21, Board of Tax Review. The Board of Tax Review shall consist of 3 members. 2 members shall be appointed by the
That's the Board
legislative
of Tax
authority.
Review, that's
For
not the tax
not
incentive.
That's different.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can
This
figure
is a
that
board
another
that
time.
goes over all the incentives, the tax
Okay.
Yeah, this is a different
abatements that
board.
we
That's the other
provide.
one.
Well, good news is it's only on second reading, so we have some time to be able to look into this and.
Yeah, all right, well, we'll get another shot at it next
Yeah.
month.
Yep.
Okay, that concludes ordinances on second reading. We have no ordinances on third reading. Do we have any old business?
I saw Mrs. Dubinsky is here now. They might have had their time wrong.
Yeah, okay, so we'll suspend the rules with regard to the agenda unless there's any objection. We can have Ms. Dubinsky come up, and if you could, restrict your time to about 5 minutes or so. And if you come to speak in the future, please be aware of when to come.
I'm Crystal Matthews, and Del Dubinsky is also, she's one, made the appointment for us. So we both reside at East Cedar Avenue. You guys have kind of touched base on some of the things that we wanted to bring to light, but there are 2 issues that we're having in that neighborhood. One is of the household at 744 East Avenue that was a condemned home, and now it is back to livable. So I don't know how it went from condemned to being livable. It's disgusting. Nothing that you guys would want to open your door to, I'm sure. They had an RV that was asked to be moved. It is now parked in the Giant Eagle parking lot. That is all over Facebook of the smell and that it's sitting there, it's not being moved. It's got a blue tarp on it. It's sad for Ravenna. It's just been bad. Our police officers and fire department are being exhausted by being called to that household because of it not being livable and just different things going on. The trash is overflowing. We're getting stray cats, rats, things that were never in our neighborhood, and we need to take care of it. There was a discussion tonight of the dumpster, so maybe that's something that can be taken care of. There is Coleman Resources that you can reach out to for the training. They do offer things like that as well. Also, we want to talk about the car show. We went around to the neighborhoods, our neighborhood, and have a petition signed. Just this week, we've had 2 incidents where our police and fire were called. 5 cruisers, ambulance, and a police officer, back-to-back days. And if that would happen during the car show, they wouldn't be able to get through. We have pictures. The majority of our residents on that road are elder and ill. And last year, we had a resident that came home from a kidney transplant and ended up that same day of the car show. The squad was there 3 days, from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. I worked in Akron at the hospital. I have to leave, use my comp time and my vacation time to be able to get into my driveway for that event. It's not feasible. If we're asking to either shut the road down, parking only on one street, so it's one way, something has to be done for safety, for our neighborhood, and for the community. So that's what we are coming here and trying to help with situations or where we need to go to next for that. If it was anyone else's family members in that neighborhood that had those families that are elder, disabled, or ill, you wouldn't want them in the situation to where life happens and they can't have the ambulance or somebody get to them as fast. So we're just reaching out with that information. We do have a petition if you would like that from the neighborhoods just on Cedar. Linden and some on Freedom have extended that they would like to be included in that. So we can get their signatures as well, but we just want to do what's best for the neighborhood. So that's what we want to hear. Our voice heard. So that's where we're at.
I would like to add, when it's Octane night, they park on both sides of our street. And our street is not that wide to begin with.
Right.
And then you have people leaving the car show that are coming toward Freedom. And you have people going to the car show that are coming from Freedom. So it's just mainly an awful situation.
It is. I've seen it.
Yeah, somebody's going to get hurt. A child's going to get killed or something because their parents are walking down the road and they're darting across the street and there's cars coming or motorcycles, and they're going from 0 to 100, even if it's not a car show. But once they have space, they're trying to just get through there, and it's going to be a bad situation.
Yeah, their road is so narrow, and last year I thought they were going to put up barricades on the one side so nobody could park on one side, and it did not happen. And their street, it literally looked like one big cluster. Like you could hardly even walk down the middle of the street. It was very bad. Now, I did bring up at one of our meetings that we had recently about the request, and I did talk to Jake about it. And I do believe it's up to the mayor, because he's the safety director, to give that direction to Jake about this. So I don't see it being an issue, but that's ultimately up to them to do that. But if you have the petition, then I would give it to them. But yeah, it is a I agree with you. You can't get out of that street. You guys are trapped, literally.
I've seen that myself, and it's just wide enough for maybe a bicycle when all those vehicles are there for that show. Nothing against the show itself, but the way that street in particular is very congested.
I'm curious as to how many people that are coming into Octane Nights. I stay away. It's too much for me, right? But I'm curious as to how many people utilize the free part of that parking at the high school and being transported over, if that's even helpful. I mean, because that's what people should be using. They should not be, we should not be doing that, and I'm sorry that you guys are dealing with that.
Even if they put a road close sign at the end and have
People just
someone
drive around it.
shuttle or something,
Yeah.
At UH, because maybe they don't know, or what have you.
And also about the house, as you heard, yes, we were talking about it in length, and yeah, that is one of the big pain in the that we've been talking about. It's non-going, and I know this has been going on for what, Bob, 3-4 years at least. It's been a long time, and I would not want that next to me at all. And I'm sorry that you guys have had to deal with this. And yeah, that's why I was curious if the dumpster could be used on her, or if they would allow it to be used because of the house. Now, I remember you and I talked about that home being condemned and how they were living in it. It ultimately comes to, is it the police that would have to enforce it, or the court?
Judge, we would have to go to a court, go to a judge to evict her.
Yeah, because it is a condemned home, everyone, so.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was put up there, yeah.
She claims that she has a buyer for it.
Yeah, she has it for sale.
If we believe what she's telling us, she has an investor that she's supposedly going to work
Oh,
with.
no.
All right, so.
We have a
just-
court date scheduled for, a court hearing, I should say.
Just so we're clear, I mean, this body is not responsible for making sure laws are obeyed. We could pass ordinance to make parking on one side of Cedar. I don't think that's going to solve your problem, because people are going to park there illegally anyway. But I would suggest you give your petition to the mayor, as Ms. Michaels said, and the mayor has the authority to shut down a street. That could be a viable option for you, but it's really something the administration has to take care of. We certainly are welcome residents to use this platform to let the city government in general know what's going on. but we're a little hamstringed to try to find a solution for you when this is just a one-night thing, you know? We usually deal with things that, like I said, parking is prohibited on one side forever, not just for one night. But we certainly all sympathize, and, you know, I've gone through when walking from my house, no way I'm going to find a parking space. And I also assume this happens from early on in the day. It's not just that suddenly happens in the evening. So it's, like you said, I mean, it's a burden that goes beyond, you know, what most people should endure, so.
There's people spending the night at A&W at night to wait to get their spot,
Right,
park their cars. And
Right.
we have those people that are, their families are scoping out to the streets closest to them to tell them where to park, so, yeah.
and I don't understand why Giant Eagle doesn't have that RV towed. Why are they permitting it to park there?
I
'Cause-
don't think they can get a hold of the person that owns it, because a family that was living there, they have moved to Warren, and I believe though that is the person that owns.
Right,
It's on private property now, so now our police really can't
right, but Giant
enforce
Eagle,
it.
Giant Eagle could have it
It's
towed.
Giant Eagle.
It's their property to,
From what Don told me, and he spoke to one of the managers at Giant Eagle, they can't find a towing company that will tow it
Oh,
because there's nowhere to take it. No one wants it. And they're in their junkyard.
And IC Hall Church is having the same problem on a vehicle too now. These are happening more. But it's awful, but it's connected to the people that own that house, so I don't know if,
It's a grandson or something, her
Yeah.
grandson, or something of that. And it's also full of motor oil.
well, at some point, it's going to be a hazard.
I know.
It already is.
Well, maybe it already is.
I just want to say too quickly, thank you so much. I know I stepped out for a second, and maybe somebody did, but we appreciate you guys coming in and sharing. It's nice to hear from residents. We can't be everywhere at once, and it helps us to get a better understanding of what's going on, so thank you.
We appreciate you guys. We just didn't know where to go to
Yeah.
this year.
Spelled
And,
correctly.
I mean, if you don't know, you don't know, so
Yeah, and I
I
don't
wanted to speak.
We'll get you in the right direction.
that's all people,
Thank you.
they don't
thanks for coming in.
All
It's
right.
like,
All right, so getting back to the agenda, was there any old business? Hearing none. Do we have any new business? Also hearing none, we'll go on to President of Council remarks. I have just got a few. I wanted to mention, and I think you got an email, it might have been buried in the package for tonight's meeting, but on April 21st, there were presentations from high school students here in this room. And there is a recording of it. I think it's limited to certain people to view, is it? Yeah. I think we're dealing with minor children, that might be one of the issues. Anyway, and I know some people here attended that, and it was something that we talked about in regards to our comprehensive plan, that we want to create a greater bond or integrate our, what we do here on the city with the school system. I think sometimes people conflate the two and think we are one thing, that the city runs the schools or whatever. But, so having this greater connection, I think, has been helpful. The chamber put this on, and I appreciate them, and when we gave them some money this year, it's part of their budget to do this again next year. And I hope this is something they continue to do. My reflections on the presentations were phenomenal in a lot of ways. I think sometimes we think of our youth as, they're kids still, they don't really know enough to, but I thought that their presentations were thoughtful. I was very surprised that they were socially motivated. Like, they all had some connection of how they could, help people who needed help, or just wanted to make things better in a more societal way, not necessarily from a commercial point of view, which I thought is interesting, and I don't know if that's a generational thing. They also presented plans that were clearly articulated, creatively organized. They were doable, and I'm going to look back at that recording and maybe even think about us implementing some of the things that they suggest. And again, I just want to say that that I hope we can do this every year, and I hope more council can attend this. I know it was during the day. The other thing I wanted to mention was that we've been having some special meetings. Last month, we had a special meeting where I presented how our legislative process functions and offered some improvements. We're still working through that. But instead of having these special meetings, these one-off special meetings, what I think would be a better approach, because our committee of the whole meetings tend to be fairly quick. I mean, we kind of go through things fairly quickly. My plan is to add on, instead of having a special meeting that night, just adding on some discussion items. For this month, for example, we do have the comprehensive plan. I do want us to look at it. It's not something we put on a shelf. So if you have time, please look at the end part where we have all those action items and see if you can find some of the more, the ones that we can do more quickly, the low-hanging fruit, things that are on a shorter table. And then we'll discuss how we can deploy them. Because I do think this is a functional document. It's not something we want to look at and just praise for its, its verbiage. We want to actually take it, dissect it, and then put it in play. The last thing I'll mention is, and I think it was already mentioned, this Friday will be a ribbon cutting. I hope as many of you can attend at 3 o'clock. And then the celebration, the summer celebration sponsored by Reed Memorial Library and the Parks and Rec Department will be out at Sumbo. It's going to be our first big event out there, and I hope a lot of people will come. All right, so we'll move on to the next item, which is council member remarks. We'll start with you, Ms. West.
Nothing today.
Dr. Calfee.
We talk about problems sometimes, and this is not a problem I want to talk about. It's a great thing. Our Ravenna 7 movie theater is great.
Oh, yeah.
It's great. And I was just reminded of it recently when I went. It's well-run, it's clean, the theaters are great, everything about it is great. I thank NDS for their work in setting it up, the city with working with them, but it is a real gem for the city, and I just wanted to say that I appreciate it greatly. I think it's really good.
Can I add something to that? Because I know I skipped my report, but I just remembered. I went and saw the last shop in Walnut last week. It was excellent. It was really well done. It was a really great story. So if you get the chance to be able to go, is it still screening there? Do we know? It might. Yeah, it was a really good movie. It was really neat to watch the movie and see like pieces of Ravenna and go, ooh, I know that. Ooh, I know that. Like throughout the movie, they did a really nice job of working with Kent State, and all the actors and actresses, and the staff and everyone that worked on it were fabulous. So it was a good experience. I know Carmen was there with me as well. So yeah, it was fabulous. It was a great showing that we had there.
Thank you. Mr. Moskin.
Yes, there was a resident that contacted me last week pertaining to the natural gas aggregation. And he was requesting that communication get out to the residents in advance. That way, if they choose to, they can do research ahead of time for the options that are available over and above than what is presented right here. So I just wanted to make sure and comment about that, about the communication part, that all residents know they have the opportunity, because sometimes they don't. And I believe that if that can be really implemented and expedited the next time, that would make quite an asset. I know there are several avenues. Some people don't look at the website very often. Some have said it's behind. Some rely on the water bills. I mean, there's just different avenues, but this person, I'll say he wasn't a happy camper because of the not enough communication, and that will be all for this evening.
Okay. Mr. Maravich?
Just adding on for the theater, one of the cool things I've always enjoyed about it is the fact that they have a carbon arc lamp projector that's opened up and you can look inside, and those were pretty much common for use from the early days up until about the probably like the 1990s, kind of really tapered off for cost. But cool piece of history there.
Ms. Michael?
Yes, just two quick things. Since we do have Dell and Crystal here, and Paul, I just want to say a huge thank you. They are part of the Homefront Heroes here in Portage County, and I was able to attend their ceremony on the Pocket Park, and for the Purple Heart, making Portage County a Purple Heart community, and it was very well done. It was a class act. I literally got goosebumps, tears, all of it. When several of the speakers that were there talked, especially Mrs. Dillon, talking about her son that, was lost in the war. It definitely brings a lot of heartfelt home, and knowing that we are a purple community, county, and it was like the first big event at our Pocket Park. It was a perfect day. It was beautiful, and it was very well done. So thank you for the commissioners for approving this to be a Purple Heart community, which of course they did without hesitation, and for the volunteers of Homefront Heroes, and we got one sitting right here at our table looking at us, Paul. And since both of you are out there, thank you. You guys did a great thing that day, and it really meant a lot to me, and I know everybody there just couldn't believe how beautiful it really was, so thank you. The other thing I wanted to bring up, I've had several people reach out to me, and I said I would bring it up to possibly have somebody check this out, but a lot of people have been talking about a new noise that has been heard in the cemetery area. They feel that it's coming from the industrial park next to the cemetery. There is a new post on Facebook that a person living on, what is that little? North Street is hearing it, and then I had a resident on Freedom Street. So more and more people are now talking about this noise. I'm not sure what this noise is. With some of the stuff going on, people are getting a little concerned. So that is something that I thought that either the building department can follow up on, and just put that at ease on whatever that noise could be, if it's temporary. But once you start hearing something, then you always hear it, and then other people can hear it. So it's something to definitely check out and to make sure everything is okay. And I said that I would definitely bring that up so that they could know that everybody was going to hear that it was being addressed. So that is all on that subject. And last but not least, I had made a post about how my thoughts are with Shalersville, and I did mean what I said. So I just want Shalersville, north of us, to know that right now they definitely have my support, and I am really, if there's anything I can do to help support them, I will. They are right north of us. They are going through a lot right now. I know we're in Ravenna, and people think, oh, it doesn't affect us. Well, guess what? It does. Some way or another, it's going to affect us. And I still feel that we are all stronger together. So whatever each and every one of us can do, it's something that we all need to be stronger on together and figure out what exactly is going on. And our Tammy lives there too. So, it affects a lot of people. So, and that's all.
Thank you. Mr. Harper?
Nothing additional.
Okay, then the next item on the agenda is the mayor's remarks. Mayor Seaman?
A lot of them have been covered, but the noise that's out there now is coming from the box factory. It is not the Koreans. It's a box factory, and they are planning an expansion there also with that. In addition to the ribbon cutting at Sunbow, There's also one at 4 o'clock on Freedom Street with access. They're retooling, or they have retooled that building, and they're putting in kind of an emergency resource or a place for people that need dental work, metal problems, a variety of things. This is, of course, Mark Frazzone's baby, so to speak, to put this together, but it's a good addition to what's going on there, and that's at 4 o'clock, and if there are any council people that would want to speak to it, just let them know, and you'll be on the agenda for that. Robinson Memorial Hospital, I just got this today. I don't know if the rest of you got it or not, but they've started a kids' summer lunch program. And it's June 1st through August 19, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. UH will be providing breakfast or free lunch. And there are no restrictions on it. This summer, children's ages 1 to 18 are eligible to receive a free, healthy lunch in the cafeteria. It has to be consumed in the cafeteria, but this is an effort to help fill the void when these kids aren't going to school and getting food. This is another source that they can do that with. So that is something that I commend UH for doing that, and it's free with that. We also are doing that with the people that come to our program that we have at the city park, and working with the CIC, that lunch is also provided there with that. I also attended the open house, I guess we would call it, in Shalersville. And they have a public meeting, a town meeting, tomorrow. It's tomorrow, but that's going to be where you usually go for the pancake dinner. It used to be, it's in that building, but I don't know how they're going to hold the number of people that might show up to that with that. But I felt that I needed to go and attend because we need to establish, as far as we're concerned, that we are investigating it and looking at it, and I hate to say neutral, but you take it in and see what they have to say. But at a certain point, it comes down to how you feel about it and whether what they have to say means something to you or it doesn't with that. But it's been busy, and the summer's going to just get busier. We've got a lot of stuff going on this summer. I'd like to commend Chelsea for her part in putting together the theater opening for us. It was the first time for me that we were around. We did it before, and it was good. And we've done it again, and it was better. And she has an awful lot to do with that and the stuff that goes on. And I guess I should mention, we've got, it's coming quick, 250 is the 11th of July, and that there will be events in town, and I'm going to be amazed if she doesn't set some kind of a record with the effort she's put into this to bring it to Ravenna with that. And I'll be in touch with the folks that, on Cedar Street. Cedar Street, you're used to regular cars there, and those homes were, when they were built, people had one car, and that isn't how it is anymore with that. So they need the space that is there, let alone not having to deal with other people taking, actually, the access to your property, to your house with that. So that's something we will work on. I think I'll stop there, but there's a lot going on, and a lot of it's positive. We did have a meeting here with the people that help supervise the house at the end of Parkway, which is for veterans. And it was interesting that we had a meeting here, but there were rules that were put down that were being ignored, and it's causing problems for the neighborhood there. And we brought together a lady that her job is to represent these veterans with that. And I'm not saying the veterans are bad. They're getting help with it. But there are some that don't take the help and just take the space and then bring others into it. And that's not what it was designed for. So I thought about a lot about that as we were watching the Purple Heart thing, because we need to help these folks. But when something's set up, it needs to function the way it was planned with that. And it will always have veterans there, and most of them do what they're supposed to. There's space for 4 in the house there. And we'll also be working with that. But we did have the people from Coleman were attended. I'm sorry, it's Mark Verson's family community services. They were here and made a commitment that the problems that they're having there, they will take care of. And, we've got a neighbor there also who is very strong on and has to deal with the people that should not be there. And she's a good lady, but she's relentless. Sometimes that's what works. Okay? Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. I think that's pretty much it for the agenda tonight. Oh, Mrs. Donahue,
Hello,
welcome to the meeting.
Thank you. Tonight was the swearing in for Central
Right.
Committee, so.
Well, I'll offer you, if you want to make comments tonight, any remarks.
Just really quick, this is just a tip of the hat to Chelsea. I was in attendance with the movie premiere, and it was just so well done. And to see a room full of people afterwards that were sharing what they really loved about filming in our city and answering those questions. And West Main Street Winery set things up really nice. And thank you, Chelsea, for coordinating all of that. And my husband and I both really enjoyed it. That's it.
That's it. All right, then I think that concludes the agenda. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
To Monday, June 1st.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned.